The Doctor is a legend woven throughout history. When disaster comes, he's there. He brings the storm in his wake.
Hello.
Hi,
And
friends.
welcome to the viewers. And this is an interesting show that we're starting the first time. This is Leslie, I'm Ganesh.
Hi. As I said, I'm Leslie, and we are going to go travel through the time and space as we dive into the wonderful world of Doctor Who. And I'm so excited.
Absolutely, I'm so excited as well. I mean, it was an accidental discovery that both of us love the show so much.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why not do a show about it, right?
I know, it was,
and that
like,
was like,
perfect
I'm like,
timing.
perfect.
I became a fan in like 14. So I was a later in life fan, I guess.
Oh wow.
And I started watching it with my kids as a fun thing to do with my oldest. And
Wow.
What about you?
So for me, the journey started in 2010 when we had a discussion in our production house regarding sci-fi, and sci-fi series at the time were not that popular because there were channels in India, right? Just a couple of them that used to play sci-fi movies and not too much. So we were fascinated because the first time Discovery talked about Doctor Who as a documentary.
Did you know why it was originally made? Like the
What was it
original
made for?
1960s,
No.
it was originally made to teach kids about
That's
history,
the part. Yep.
and the Doctor would. But they realized that the episodes that pushed more sci-fi aspects and less history did better. So then they took off the track of it being a kids show for families to watch on Sunday nights to like more of a sci-fi
So more
show.
from an education point of view to
To
an entertainment point
an
of view.
entertainment point of view.
Right,
Basically,
that's
that was
interesting.
it.
That's
Yeah.
really interesting.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that BBC had the thought to actually create a sci-fi series like this, because I kind of felt that BBC has always been pretty specific about the kind of shows they want to make,
they do.
and they were kind of limited by not just the viewership but also how the royal family dictates a lot of stuff that
It's
goes
true,
on.
yeah.
And I'm like, how did they get the creative freedom at that time
Doctor
to
Who
create
definitely.
Doctor Who?
Yeah, it
'Cause
definitely came out. Like Coronation Street was going on then,
Right,
and like
right.
all of these older like British shows were coming on, and then
Right.
Doctor Who came out of nowhere. So
Exactly.
they probably pushed it as like a family friendly, let's sit down
Yeah.
on Sunday night kind of
Yeah,
show.
I know.
And then it didn't do so well, so they already had it out there. So they're like, let's just,
And that became a hit.
it became such a hit. The first
Wow.
one went to like it was run to like 1989 or something like that. The
Right,
first
right,
one
Right.
from like somewhere around there, and it went for a long run before it took the hiatus.
It
yeah.
did. It did.
I enjoy the new series. I really do. I also am not a sci-fi fan. I like fantasy. I love fantasy. And so when Doctor Who came out and they were like, oh, it's a sci-fi show, I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to watch it. I don't know if it's my like cup of tea. Haha, British joke there.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. But I started watching. I just watched like one episode, and I became absolutely hooked. I was like, I adored the Ninth Doctor.
Right,
Like,
right.
I found him charming. I found
Right.
him personable.
Right.
I just loved. I fell in love from the first I guess series 9, episode 1.
Episode 1. Right.
Obsessed.
Right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Started my love of sci-fi. Well,
I love that. So, did you know that doctors are going to regenerate? Because when Christopher Eccleston was like on the verge of dying, I'm like, what? Crap.
what's gonna
Is
happen?
this, exactly.
It's
Is this the end of
over.
the series or
Yeah.
what? And suddenly his face changes.
It just changes. It's
Yeah,
kind of
like
like
Yeah.
what's that? James Bond. They just keep bringing like one
New-
James
the new
Bond
Bond.
like ages out of
Well-
being it,
well,
and then
but-
they bring in another one, and they just
Yeah.
keep it going.
Keep it going.
Yeah.
But at least for the MI6 part, right, the fictional Bond series, every time the person dies, whoever is the next agent in training gets trained to become this 007. That's
Yeah.
the way it is.
Yeah.
But here, it's the same freaking body.
It's
It's
true.
the
They
same
all have the
body,
same. Yeah, that's
same
true.
body,
They have
it's
the
just-
same body, the same memories, the same everything.
Exactly.
I kind of
Right.
like it because it gives like different actors a chance to kind of do it, and I really like the different doctors, how
Mm-hmm.
the personalities and how they interact with Rose and how they interact with like all the other characters, and
Mm-hmm. yeah.
like how they just kind of make it their own.
Right.
The Doctor their own. And I think that's so fun.
All right. So, question for you. The biggest nemesis for Doctor Who is which species or which group of aliens?
That's a tough one because there's so many. I really like the Weeping Angels because they're just so clever and cunning, and like it doesn't stop. It really those episodes really get your like heart racing.
Right.
So let's go with Weeping Angels.
You are? Okay.
But they're not really against. It's a tough question, to be honest.
Right?
It is.
I believe personally it's the Master, because the Master, just like the Time Lord, can go back in time and space
And change things.
change things, and
And
to a
he's
point where I believe the Master was in cahoots with
Yeah.
the Cybermen.
Yes,
at a
he was
point
at
of
one
time.
point. Yes. Oh, yes, they were.
Right, so
So-
even a Dalek, if I'm not wrong, he was also in league with the Daleks.
Yeah,
at a
they're all
certain
kind of
point.
in league, but
Yeah,
they're all
'cause-
kind of in league with each other.
Right.
So I guess the Master, because he kind of controls the other side, like he's like the yin and yang of the
So true.
Time Lord, like
So true.
the Doctor.
Right.
And without him,
Yep.
then there would be no need to go back and forward in
Yeah.
time because he's the one that sets up. Yeah, because he's the one that sets. Yeah, so I guess the Master would be like the ultimate.
Would be, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but my personal favorite, I mean, as the most silliest of enemies are the Daleks.
Yeah, I do love the
Undoubtedly.
Daleks. They're just.
Yeah.
Exterminate. I love it. Like I just they like follow them around with their little lasers. And the Empty Children, which is my kid's favorite
Right,
episode, but
right.
creepiest.
Creepiest.
Creepy
right.
episode.
Yep,
That is
yep.
probably the creepiest
Yep,
episode.
yep.
Yeah. So
And I think this is the episode where Jack
Yes.
Harkness gets introduced.
yes, it is. He
Right?
the other companion. That's where he picks up Rose. He like saves Rose
Saves
from the Empty
Rose,
Child, and then
right.
yeah, and that's where Captain Jack, and he is another,
I
return
love
character.
him. I love him.
I do too. Yeah,
I love him.
I do.
I love the fact that he's, gender fluid, if you want to call it that, because he loves all kinds of species and all genders.
Yeah, he
and I'm
does like he's species, but yeah, he
Yeah.
kind of just is there and he
Yeah.
comes in and out. Yeah, I do like the episodes. He adds a little bit of flair
He does,
to the
he
episodes
does.
that he's in.
Everyone thinks he is going to be the face of Bo. Yeah. Yeah, the face of Bo is this guy, Jack Harkness, because he never dies.
That's true.
He never dies. He always he does
That's
not
something to think about.
regenerate like Doctor, but
But
if
he
he gets
never-
killed,
Yeah,
he
just
comes back to
regenerates.
life.
Yeah, he
so
just
he is
regenerates.
the face of Bo, apparently.
Yeah, it's
So-
fun. It's very interesting. I just
Yeah.
like Doctor Who. I could talk about it forever and ever and ever. As long as the show's been on, I could talk about it.
So
So
true.
the Doctor kind of leaves his mark wherever he goes.
So true. All right. So, well, I think that's an interesting start to the episode.
Yeah, I
Don't
do
you think
too.
so?
I think so too.
Yeah. All right. So I think we will continue the conversation regarding the series in the next episode as well, and I think we will break it down.
Episode by episode. We can talk about an episode
Yeah.
of the TARDIS. We can talk about the sonic screwdriver. We can talk about different characters. There's so much we can talk about.
Right.
But I think that's where we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up for this episode, and do join us for the next one. And
Yeah.
be sure to like and subscribe and share it with all other Doctor Who fans who love being part of the conversation. All right,
Sounds
so
good.
take care.
All right,
We're signing
take
out.
care.